um, um, a market where, as I was giving example, that could be a market of a tour package, market for hotels. Now, who actually uses these markets? Who is the person who goes to this market and uses this market? So the first thing that we look at it, market for whom? For consumers, right? So who is the consumer? So, so consumer is a person who uses the products or services, right? Now, there are two sides of it. One production side, one consumption side. So production side, who comes production? All the business houses or suppliers, producers, merchants, retailer, franchisers of hotels, restaurants, of your what's it called, tour agencies, travel agencies, tour guides. All those people are producers, right? Consumption, you tourists, they go to a destination, they stay in a hotel, they eat in a restaurant, they use the tour guide services, they use the taxi services. They're consumers, right? So producers, consumers. But we should also look at the Oxford Dictionary definition. It says consumer is a person who purchases goods and services for personal use. So anyone who uses goods and services, they'll call it a consumer. Now, obviously, consumers, they have a demand, right? Because again, the whole system of business runs on the concept of meeting consumer or customer needs. So I need to go, let's say I need to go from Delhi to Jammu, I need to have a transport, right? So I create a demand, isn't it? Because I'm going from Delhi to Jammu. So I need to go. I may go by aeroplane, I may go by train, I may go by taxi, or may go by bus. So people like me all together, we created demand, right? And who has the seller is one who fulfills my requirements and complies with my demands, and that's why there is supply side from there. Okay, what happens is this force that, because let's say if there are too many customers, right? Let's say I give a very good example. I still remember when I used to go to Jammu from Delhi, and what used to happen. And Jammu is a town in the north of India, Jammu and Kashmir. Sorry if I've not told you before, for some of you. And Delhi is the central capital of India. So when I used to go from Delhi to Jammu, especially on Friday afternoon, Friday nights, the tickets used to be very, very expensive. You know why? Because there were many more people who wanted to go by bus than there were buses available. So that was a force that made them increase the price, because on Monday to Thursday, there were very less people who used to travel from Delhi to Jammu. So what used to happen? They used to have low profits there. So they used to fulfill cover up by increasing the price, and that's how, or maybe increasing the number of buses. Okay, now who is the driving force? It's demand and supply, isn't it? So that's a driving force for the price. As I said, they used to increase the price because obviously they used to cover their losses when they used to do it in the weekdays. Okay. Now, what happens is that when a person who's purchaser or consumer, or a buyer, the supplier tells, hey, this is my ticket price. That's actually supplier is communicating to consumer. That means I'm passenger, I want to go, I look at the ticket price, it was 500 rupees early, now it is 800 rupees. So what is supplier telling me? Okay, this is information for you, that this much is how much is going to cost if you want to buy. But if I don't buy, someone else will buy. I'm very sure, because I know it. Especially if you have to go by Volvo bus, you don't get it. And I mean, I have experience, but things would have changed by now. But I'm telling you what I used to go, which is 10, 12 years back, or maybe more than that. Okay, so so what happens is the sellers, they supply some more stuff along with the price, because they give them a lot of extra value. They add value to the product or service. Let's say, I'll give you an example here again. When you have, when you go to buy a mobile, right? You go to buy a mobile. Okay, you want a mobile? Yes, I want a mobile. They ask you what is the price range, right? The first question is price range. But the fact of the matter is they should be asking you what quality you want, what what is the features that you're looking at in your mobile phone, isn't it? Because the features, the extra features they put in the mobile phone, it's more expensive and expensive. I can have a mobile phone worth rupees 2,000 rupees also, and I can have a mobile phone worth rupees 60 or 80,000 also. They both have the basic purpose to communicate with person A to person B while you're away from your landline, isn't it? So your 2,000 rupees mobile will also receive a phone call and can do a phone call, right? And your 80,000 rupees phone will also do a phone call. But your 80,000 phone has a lot of extra features on that, like, four cameras, selfie cameras, front and back cameras, latest software, how much is the RAM, how much is storage capacity, what Snapdragon, what's it called, version is it, what is it iOS system using, so on and so forth, right? Now, similarly, when you're flying by aeroplane or even by train, what class do you want to travel? So when you travel in a train, so you have a what's called sleeper class, you have a second AC, you have first AC, and we have a general coaches also, right? I tell you, all the people who board the train from point A reach to point B. Yes, it's a comfort level and whatnot in the different levels and price that you're paying, really expecting, or you're ready to pay. Okay, so that's where they want to earn more profits out of it. They want to more, and that's why they will add values. So buyers are the same persons of which are who are consumers, and they consume the goods and services. Now, what happens is that when the buyers they consume products or services, they actually tend to buy more if the prices are quite less. But again, that's again a dilemma in this, because the different strategies that you want to put your price of your commodity product or services. And here I'll give you one example. Again, I gave you one example, mobile phone 2000. How much would you expect to buy what's it called, Apple iPhone X? Maybe let us cover more than that. And how much would you expect to buy a Redmi Note 2? Both are phones, right? So which is latest model, which is old model, right? So what happens is, when usually when there's a lower on the price, so buyers look at, price has come down, let's go and get it. They go and get the when lower prices are there, but at the same time they actually look at the benefits too at the same time. But there's a very important thing which I want to tell you over here, because um, there's something called brand image. If there's a brand image that is created, like you go to five-star hotel, you go to seven-star hotel, or five-star hotels, you go to one-star or two-star hotels. So they both have facilities, and then there's a different brands, and every brand charges for the products and services that they provide, with the quality of products and services. For that matter, an example I was giving you, Apple iPhone, or maybe Xiaomi and Redmi Note 2. So what comes over here is that there is a lot of variation in pricing of those products or services based on a lot of reasons, which I would say it itself is a topic in itself. But for us to understand that, buyers may be hesitant to buy a commodity if it's very very expensive. Okay, but if there's a genuine justifiable reason that a product or service provider can tell them and show them why it is expensive, and they convince them, sure, they'll buy. There are people who buy phones, like expensive phones and everything, and the people like me who really don't want to buy more than 10,000 rupees phones. So yeah, well, for me, it's good enough if I have a 10,000 rupees phone and which is doing all those work which I'm supposed to do. Why should I really buy 60,000 rupees phone? Now, let's move on to the next topic, which calls industry. Now, industry is to mean totality of production of a particular goods and services. That means hospitality industry, tourism industry, right? In the industry, all the production, consumption, everything happens. That's one industry. Okay. Now, what happens in the industry? It's a group of manufacturers or business that produces a kind of goods or service. Like I told you, tourism industry relates to tourism. Textile industry, it's relates to all textile, clothing, design, development, fabrication, all they sell clothes, right? In tourism and hospitality industry, you will have tourists, you have tourist destination, you'll have tour guides and services, you'll have airlines, you'll have what's it called, railways and roadways. You will have, which is mixed because others also use it, but you will certainly, for tourism itself, you will have hotels for people to come and stay. Okay, now what happens is that automobile industry uses cars. Food and beverage industry, they prepare food and beverage for various places like hotels. They produce for hotels, they produce for schools, they produce for army, or for what's called police. And obviously this industry comes in umbrella term for where all the particular goods and services from particular section of the businesses are done. It's called industry, right? Now, the many different firms or companies, they manufacture motor cars, and then maybe from the economy level to very expensive car, but they all of them, they fall in one category or one umbrella, which is called industry. Now again, let's take two example of our tourism. So we have very small operators in tourism, and like a small person sitting in a small town and having a small travel agency or a tour guide service or any such service, or it's a huge chain of hotels and huge big service industry people sitting, or big giants who are like Taj and Oberoi and all. They all give products and services in tourism. They come in one industry and one umbrella. So for now, I believe I have explained you the topic very well. So what I shall do it here, I'll stop it here for now, and then we shall see you in the next session. Thank you so much for today, and I see you next time soon. Thank you. Bye.